Quick question. If your life was a movie, what would the audience be screaming at the screen right now? Because I think that they wouldn't be whispering advice. They'd be screaming at the screen, leave that relationship, stop settling for that job, and commit to one thing. Pick one thing and commit to it. And what's the scary part about that? That it's all going to be true. Because you know what to do. Alam mo sa sarili mo kung ano yung kailangan mong gawin para ma-reach yung mga bagay na gusto mong makamit. I think a lot of us aren't really stuck. We're just stuck playing it safe because we've stopped hoping for something better. And hope isn't something that you have, it's something that you practice. And right now, you've practiced quitting in your head more than you've practiced trying to show up. Welcome to the Rebuilding from Zero podcast. This is episode 4. The first 3 episodes were vlogs, but now it's gonna be a podcast because I don't like editing vlogs. I've just come to realize it's really, really hard to edit long format content. But today, I want to try something new. The goal for this podcast really is to just build it up slowly and hopefully take me someday to um, have a platform for people to have conversations because I really want to be able to have conversations with like-minded people, with people who have built more than I have. I'm a pretty young dude. I'm 24. I had cancer 2 years ago, and if you don't already know, oh yeah, my name is Thomas. I had cancer when I was 21, and I'm trying to rebuild everything from zero. And this is the journey wherein I just talk about the things that I've learned along the way from fighting it up until to living it and up until to thriving because of it. That's what we have here. And today's episode really is I want to show that hope is a skill. So we should stop playing it safe. Let's go back a little bit in time. I told you guys that I had cancer when I was 21. I was diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia. And if you're a follower for a while, you already probably know my journey. But if you aren't, please subscribe. You enjoy this type of content if you're feeling lost, because I did. I felt lost a lot when I was young. Up until now, I still feel a little bit lost in the sauce kasi ang hirap ng buhay eh. Ang dami mong pwedeng gawin, ang dami mong gustong gawin, and sometimes it's just really hard. But what's the important thing is that we always want to be able to become better. And hope really is just a skill. So when I was in treatment, I thought that hope was fake. Kala ko it's just not true. It's just bullshit na people would just say to just hope, just pray, this is God's plan, and have faith. But I've come to realize that it's not just fake because I didn't know if I genuinely would have make it through if I didn't change a certain mindset that I have. Because I started to romanticize the adverse situation that I was in and stop doing the work that I had to. Yes, of course, I stopped hoping for a brighter tomorrow because I was having cancer. But in reality, all of us do this. Regardless of what type of adverse situation you have, we do this a lot. Before I had cancer, I also lost hope about the dreams I had because I just stopped hoping for a brighter tomorrow because I wasn't asking good enough questions. I relied so much on luck. I stopped working on the life I wanted to live. And that's gonna be the cause of our misery. And like looking down the line, looking imagining things down the line, down the future, it's that time where where our 40 or 80-year-old selves would look back at us and said na hindi mo kasi ginawa yung bagay na sabi mong gagawin mo. And yun yung nakakatakot yun. So, when I was in treatment, I realized that I relied so much on luck to survive. I relied so much on the medicine to survive. I wasn't even hoping. I wasn't even having faith in myself. I just gave into the fear that was disguised as realistic. I gave into that fear. I gave into that uncertainty, being that constant threat. No, I didn't know what was going to happen tomorrow. Life does that to you. Regardless of when you have cancer, you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Yeah, like uncertainty as that constant threat. And then I became so romanticized about the idea that I was just a sick person, that I couldn't do anything at all. So that sense became a sense of comforting thing, that I can just lay down in bed, not do anything at all, and that became my identity. That became my identity for some sort of time. That the comfort as an identity. And I think a lot of us, especially young people, we go through this a lot. We go out to parties, we 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 become careless, we doom scroll the entire day just because it's more comfortable than the idea of doing something that's uncomfortable that would get us to where we want to go tomorrow. And really, hope dies when you stop asking better questions. Courage, it disappears when you avoid being seen. I'll deep diver later on this because courage is something that you build, and I'll talk about this later as well. Hope and courage act together in a way that would make you go into action, moving towards something that you want to have in life. And the magic stays locked behind the work and conversations that you keep on avoiding. So there was this day, I remember that I was in the transplant ward, that I thought my dreams would never come true. As in, yung mga pangarap ko sa buhay na makatulong sa ibang tao, na makagawa ng mga projects that would help build communities, that would um, help lives have more imagination, that would help lives have more capabilities to achieve dreams, help people to achieve their dreams. I thought that all of those were gone. Because my dream is to just help other people achieve their dreams. That's my biggest dream. That's the essence of what my dream is. I want to be able to help people achieve their dreams. So I also thought that I wouldn't be able to run again. I loved running so much. Before I had cancer, I was already a runner, and up until now, I'm trying to build myself as a runner. I had this series on my Instagram, a vlog series, a real series called Cancer Patient to Athlete, and this was just me trying to build myself up. No, rebuild from zero was also supposed to be a cancer patient to athlete type of vlog series wherein I document my journey. I thought that I wasn't going to be able to run again, and then and really, hope was something that I thought that I couldn't get again. But I realized that you either foster it or neglect it. So what I did was I stopped the habits that aren't helping me. I sacrificed the things that weren't working. And I stopped myself from being consumed by fear. I started moving when I was still uncertain, no, if this was even going to work, if I could even survive. I just started to do things that I like doing. I asked the better questions. So even if I didn't know that I would see tomorrow, I really emphasized on and decided that I'd be hopeful, and I just decided that I wanted to be someone who would be able to help people. Whoops. And how would I do that if my own mind and my own heart wasn't courageous and hopeful enough? So here's a little thing that I did. I of course operationalized the entire thing. So here's a simple three-step process on to rebuild hope and courage when life feels unstable. So each step is a shift in how you relate to reality, hope, and action. So the goal is not to feel fearless. The goal is to build evidence and momentum. Because remember, confidence doesn't come from courage, or courage doesn't come from confidence. Confidence comes from the evidence and momentum you built along the way. Yeah. And then courage comes from the relationships that you build as well. It's the ability to be able to let people see who you are when you're starting. And that's the biggest courageous and that's the most courageous thing you can do, is that you show your friends, you show your family, and you show random people, your classmates, your colleagues, that you're starting something. That's the most courageous thing you can do. Kasi marami sa ating takot makita na nagsisimula. Kasi, hey, mukha siyang tanga. Hey, he looks stupid. Di niya alam ginagawa niya. And that's okay. That's really okay to to acknowledge that you don't know what the hell you're doing. Because nobody fucking does. Nobody knows what they're doing, especially at the start of something, at the start of building something. Imagine a Lego set, 'di ba? Alam mo yung mabubuo mo at the end. Pero nakikita mo na ba yung pieces mabuo mag-isa? Nakikita mo na ba yung end goal agad kapag kabukas mo ng packaging? 'Di ba hindi naman? You start with a brick. A brick. You start with nothing. You start with something that's like so minuscule that you don't even know what it would be at the end. Or maybe you have that vision, 'di ba? Sa Lego box, meron kang alam mo kung saan mo gusto pumunta. Ano yung mabubuo mo pagkatapos. And sometimes you have that. You have that vision for yourself na, okay, this is where I wanna go. Pero you would start and there would be nothing at all. There'd be nothing at all. There'd be few plastic bags of bricks that you slowly build. There's an instruction. And sometimes, pwedeng wala. Paano kung lumang Lego set yung nakuha mo, di ba? So, you have to build it and you have to be seen starting. Sometimes starting is really the hardest part. So, I call this framework that I did the courage ladder. So, it's number one is to face reality. Recognize the situation is fucked anyways. Nobody knows what they're doing. Who cares? Like, who actually cares? Yeah. Nobody cares. So, recognize that the situation is fucked anyways. It's okay. You're lost. Everybody's lost. It's That's just the reality of hope. The reality of life. That everyone is just lost. Everyone's just trying to figure it all out. So you have to face that reality and you accept that. Alam ko kung nakikinig ka dito ngayon, alam mo na din yun eh. Alam mo na to eh. Diba? Alam mo na, alam mo na kung ano yung realidad ng buhay. But then, I want the next step to that is to build hope. Reframe that hope is a development skill. It's a developable skill. It is not something that you just have, it's something that you ask yourself. And this is a beautiful quote wherein ito na yung definition ng ano ba yung hope. Hoping is asking the question, if you knew you couldn't fail, what would you want to do? This is from Alain de Botton, and it's just so beautiful. It's so simple. Sobrang simple lang niya. Ano ang gagawin mo kapag alam mo na hindi ka pwedeng pumalpak? Ano yung gusto mong gawin kapag alam mong hindi ka papalpak? And that's what hope is. If you know you couldn't fail, what the hell would you do? And I told myself that I have nothing to lose, that I no longer have anything to lose. I've lost everything. I've lost the skills. I lost the strength. I lost my hair. I lost everything. And I had nothing to lose. And that was the first step. That was the second step I took. And that's where I was able to reframe hope as a developable skill. And then lastly is to be seen in action. Yeah. Rep the action even if you're afraid. There was a time na talagang I was just doing things. I was documenting my journey. I look back at the content that I have and they're all cringe. They're all so like ugh. Up until now, like looking back to just a few months ago, I still would point out things na, oh, I did that wrong. I said that wrong. That the script is awful. But that's just how it is. Take the first step. Take the first action. Take the first action even if you're still afraid. Don't be afraid to be seen. Why? Why? So let's dive a little bit deeper on why these things matter. So how do we learn to accept? Let's go back to the first step, facing reality. How do we learn to accept the unfair circumstances that we are facing? Yeah. What are the things we need to do in order to recognize the situation is fact? That is the question you have to ask yourself. Ako, ang ginawa ko dito para ma-realize ko kung paano ko na-realize na it's okay that the situation is fucked. It's just that I looked at life and accepted that this is it. I was just in the mindset of like, I am in the moment. This is the moment that's happening right now. Nothing is good or as bad as it seems. Diba? Nothing is good or as bad as it seems. Yun yung wallpaper ko eh. Nothing is bad as it seems. That's my wallpaper. Kasi that's a constant reminder that to be in the present. Nothing is as painful as it seems. And if you're a runner, or if you're an athlete, or if you're a student, looking at your situation right now, nag-aaral ka man ng mabuti, parang hirap na hirap ka na kasi lahat ng load sa buhay mo, napakahirap eh. Ang daming ginagawa, ang daming responsibility sa school, ang sakit ng training, ang sakit tumakbo, ang sakit ng intervals, pagod ka na. Pero in reality, nothing is bad or as good as it seems. Looking at the present moment, sige. But looking back, when are the times that you look back in your life and in through the memories that you have, good or bad, that you think that they're good or bad, that they're actually good or bad? Maybe I'm not making sense here, pero I think we should detach ourselves from what we think is good and what we think is bad in terms of our experiences. In the moment, it may be good, but it also may be bad. But what has that added to our life? And we often remember bad things more than good things, but then we learn from the bad things that happened to us. Now, we're not going to repeat that again. Yeah. Or we're gonna do that again because it felt good, it felt nice. Diba? So that's how we accept and learn from the unfair circumstances we're facing. So now, how do we build hope? In a moment of hopelessness. Ito yung pinakamahirap na question. Pero, as I've said kanina, if you knew you couldn't fail, what would you want to do? Diba? What would you want to do? What are the certain actions that you wanted to take? For me, this was really just making the content and sharing the story, sharing the journey along the way. I remember the story of why I started making content after the first time I fought cancer. Because I fought cancer twice. And the first time I fought cancer really it was hard, but I was able to stand back up. The second time, before I had my relapse, I was the strongest I could ever be. I have I went back to school. I started to have friends, and then I started to really enjoy the process, and then it was all taken away. Kasi nawala lahat ng kaibigan ko kasi I wasn't able to build a relationship I wasn't able to build a relationship in school. My blockmates didn't know me as I wanted to be known, and of course I still have my high school friends and I'm grateful for them, but I wasn't able to have new relationships, and it was just really hard. But I was talking to my therapist once, and she just really told me na you just start even if you don't know what you're doing. And that's why I started my Instagram page before. That was the first step. Just started. Just started documenting the journey. Ang corny pa nga nun eh. Yun pa yung 1K, 2K. Sobrang corny ng content ko na. I like did 5 videos na parang ganun lang. But then, I started talking more. Sharing more about the story. And then, one day, bumalik yung cancer ko. And I'm like, guys, hindi ko na alam kung anong gagawin ko. But I'll still document this journey because, number one, I think this can be a source of inspiration for others. Baka may mga taong katulad ko na nahihirapan na lumalaban din, and this might this just might help somebody. So this was my coping mechanism really, to just share the story. And I just started talaga. Started randomly, walang plano, walang alam. And then tuloy ko lang. I just built it, just showed up every day, was intentional about the things I do. And yeah, I still don't know what the hell I'm doing, but I think I'm getting better a little bit. I'm now starting this podcast, and that's another sort of action that I wanted to do. Looking back, I've wanted to start a podcast for 6 years now. When I was 20, I was like, oh, I want to start a podcast about this and that. And now I'm actually doing it. See, 6 years down the line, I'm still trying to learn. And that's okay. That's okay. I mean, 4 years pala. 4 years down the line, that is okay. Just start. Just stop playing it safe. Just start. No? And then courage is to be seen in the beginning or in the restart. No? We're really afraid of being seen when we're beginning. So how do we get this courage? We get the courage from either the people that we have, the relationships that we build, and the faith that we have in the people we love. So if you know that this is something you want to do and you love doing, courage would naturally come because you are not doing this just for yourself, but you're also doing this for the people that love you and that appreciate you, that are rooting for you. No, so don't be afraid to be seen. Don't be afraid to start. Kasi lahat naman tayo nagsisimula somewhere. And that's just the courage that you have to have in yourself, in your core, and just trust that people are rooting for you because your family, your friends, they will root for you. Maybe, maybe not, but I think we all are just rooting for each other because I remember ako sobrang ano ako sa friends ko. Like, I can't wait for them to achieve their dreams, to reach their goals. I'm always like, I'm here to support them. And I think if you emanate that to others and you think that they think that as well, you can use that as a source of courage na they're also rooting for you. They will be rooting for you. So just start being seen. And if hindi man to totoo, if hindi man to totoo, para sa inyo, ay hindi kayo nakaka-relate dito, you can always just start finding the people that you have by just starting anyways. And you'll naturally attract the people that are like you. So, here's the story for me. Ha? I nung time na to, wala pang masyadong run clubs. And ang hirap maghanap ng coach. So when I started documenting my journey, dito pa lang nagsa-start yung running boom. Kumbaga, dito pa lang nag-start yung running boom. So, I started documenting the journey and then a branch out, when I reach out, and then parang naturally, this is where I found my community. This is where I found Easy RC, and now I am the creative director of this club, and I'm trying to build a community wherein we evolve the running space for these for our community. We evolve the running culture for this country. It all just happened because no, I just started documenting. It was the most cringiest thing. Hindi ko din alam kung ano yung nakita nila sa akin, but sila na mismo yung lumapit. Like, parang binigay na sila ni God, ito na. Ito na yung matagal mong hinahanap na community. And then, doon ko nakita yung mga taong would always root for me. That would always say na, we're proud of you for keeping fighting, keeping on sharing that story. And And doon ako humuhugot ng courage sa community na yan kasi yung mga bagay na nakita ko at gusto kong makamit ay parang nasa kanila. Gusto ko lumakas, gusto ko maging magaling tumakbo, gusto kong magkaroon ng community wherein everybody is safe. You can share your deepest and darkest fears about your fitness, about your journey. And everybody is just rooting for you. And that's what I got in that community. Eh. And I just started and I then found the relationships that I wanted in my life. No? So, if wala ka man relationship ngayon, and I know that this can happen because medyo mahirap talaga mag-start. If bata ka pa, hindi mo alam ginagawa mo, judgmental mga kaibigan mo, or sometimes minsan malakas ang trip nila, ganun, just really start. I know I'm just yapping at this point, pero I don't even know what I'm really doing here. And I don't even know if I'm gonna edit this fully. But what I know is that hope is a skill. So stop playing it safe and have the courage to be seen. Just have the courage to be seen. Peace.